maternal and the fetal bloodstream flow side by side but in the opposite direction. This counter current flow facilitates material exchange between the mother and the fetus. The venous capillary blood pressure varies from 20 to 40 millimeter of mercury. This change or the gradient of pressure helps in the exchange of the material. Then fetal blood flow through the placenta is approximately 400 ml per minute. So there is a fast blood flow inside the placenta. So this picture you can see that this is the primary stem cell villi. The outer layer is syncytotrophoblast and the inner one white color structure are cytotrophoblast. This is the cross section of the primary villi. Then this is the secondary villi. The outer layer is syncytotrophoblast, the middle white color is cytotrophoblast and the inner brown color is mesoderm. This is the structure of the secondary villi. The tertiary villi, the outer layer is syncytotrophoblast, middle one is cytotrophoblast, then mesoderm, and the blood vessels come and occupy the mesoderm. This is a fully functional villi which is called as tertiary villi. Coming to the functions of the placenta, there are various functions: excretory, respiratory, nutritive, barrier function, immunological function, endocrine function. Mechanism involved in transfer of substance across the placenta by simple diffusion, by facilitated diffusion mediated through the transporter protein in syncytotrophoblast, active transfer against concentration gradient where energy is required and ATP is mediated. Endocytosis at it helps in invagination of the cell membrane to form an intracellular vesicle which contains extracellular molecules. So it helps in the intake of the substance. Opposite to endocytosis is exocytosis, where the substance is excreted out. So the release of the molecule within the vesicle to the extracellular space. Leakage is the break in the placental membrane. Respiratory function, it takes intake of the oxygen and the output of the carbon dioxide takes place by the simple diffusion across the fetal membrane. Fetal respiratory movements are observed since 11 weeks, but the lungs are not open, so there is no gaseous exchange between the lungs. So it is only through the blood that the oxygen and the carbon dioxide is transported. Oxygen supply to the fetus is approximately 8 ml per kg per minute and achieved through the cord blood flow of 165 to 330 ml per minute. Waste products from the fetus such as urea, uric acid and creatinine are excreted to the maternal blood by simple diffusion. Glucose is transferred through the facilitated diffusion and the molecule transport protein is GLUT1. Mother to the fetus, the fetal blood glucose level is very low as compared to the maternal fetal. Lipids are transferred across the fetal membrane in early pregnancy and synthesized by the fetus in the late pregnancy. So there is dual origin of the lipids like triglycerides, essential fatty acid and cholesterol. Amino acids are actively transported. They require energy transport through enzymatic mechanism of ATPase. Amino acid concentration is higher in the fetal blood than in the maternal blood. This is in contrast to the glucose. Glucose levels are high in the maternal blood and low in the fetal blood, whereas amino acid concentration is higher in the fetal blood and low in the maternal blood. Water and electrolyte, sodium potassium chloride by simple diffusion. Calcium, phosphorus, iron is transported through active transport. Water soluble vitamins are transported through water active transport. The hormones. Placenta becomes a new endocrine organ and the function of the pituitary ovarian axis is transferred to the placenta. Initial 6 to 8 weeks, which is the time for the formation of the placenta, this endocrine function is performed by the corpus luteum, and as the placenta matures, that is by end of 6 to 8 weeks, this role is transferred to the placenta from corpus luteum. The syncytotrophoblast contains abundant rough endoplasmic reticulum, Golgi bodies and mitochondria. Syncytotrophoblast are the principal sites of protein and the steroid hormones in pregnancy. There are various hormones secreted by the placenta. They can be classified into two categories: hypothalamic like releasing hormone, pituitary like hormone. Under hypothalamic like releasing hormone, corticotropin releasing hormone, gonadotropin releasing hormone, thyrotropin releasing hormone, and growth hormone releasing hormone. They are secreted by the cytotrophoblast and syncytotrophoblast. Pituitary like hormone like ACTH, HCG, human chorionic thyrotropin, and human placental lactogen. They are secreted by the syncytotrophoplasts. The main steroid hormones are estrogen, progesterone, and the cortisol. Estrogen is secreted by the fetoplacental unit, progesterone till 6 weeks by the corpus luteum and thereafter by the placenta. Cortisol is secreted by the decidua and the adrenals. Growth factors are secreted by the syncytotrophoplasts. The placenta also has enzymatic function, like it secretes diamine oxidase, oxytocin, and phospholipase A2. Placenta has barrier function, it protective barrier to the fetus against noxious agent. High molecular weight molecules, which are more than 500 daltons, are held up, thus protects the fetus against these heavy molecules. Some infections like viral chickenpox, rubella, measles, mumps, bacterial infections like tuberculosis, protozoas like toxoplasma malaria can cross the placental barrier and thus infect the fetus. Also, some drugs induced in pregnancy can cross the fetal barrier, this placental barrier, and reach the fetus and can have adverse effects. Now, lastly, immunological function. Placenta contains paternally determined antigen, which are foreign to the mother. Even then, there is no evidence of graft rejection. This means placenta probably offers immunological protection against the rejection. Placental hormone protein are responsible for all these immunological functions. Then early pregnancy factors, PAPPA and chorionic gonadotropin. They all have the immunosuppressive action. With this, I stop here with this presentation. Thank you. Now let us discuss about the umbilical cord. Umbilical cord is covered by the epithelium. It contains Wharton's jelly, which is extra embryonic mesoderm cells. It has got two arteries and one vein. It has the remnant of the umbilical vesicle, that is yolk sac, and the vitelline duct, and the allantois, obliterated extra embryonic coelom. It is 40 cm long, 1.5 cm in diameter. It has got true and the false knots. It is usually attached to the fetal surface of the placenta, somewhere between center and the edge of the placenta. So it has eccentric insertion. Fetal membranes, we know there are two membranes, amnion and the chorion. The outer layer is the chorion, is a remnant of the chorionic levi, which is thick shaggy membrane. The inner layer, which is amnion, is a double layered thin translucent membrane. It does not have any blood supply, nerve or a lymphatic supply. What are the functions of the fetal membranes? It contributes in the formation of Leica amnion. Intact membrane prevents ascending infection into the uterus. Enzymatic action for steroid hormone synthesis, and source of lipids like arachidonic acid, which is precursor of the prostaglandins and is useful in the labor initiation. So you know that ARM induces the labor. So this is the reason why by ARM the labor is induced. Production of growth factors and cytokinins by the amnion. It helps in the dilatation of the cervix during the labor. Amnion can be used for medical treatment of burns, eye ulcers and amnion vaginoplasty. Now next part is amniotic fluid. There are various mechanisms suggested for the formation of the amniotic fluid. First, it is the transudation from the maternal circulation across the placenta and the membranes. It is active secretion from the amniotic epithelium, transudation across the umbilical cord and the fetal placental circulation. There is contribution from the fetal urine. Then the formation is through the tracheobronchial secretion and transfer across the fetal skin prior to its keratinization, that is before 20 weeks of gestation. The volume of the amniotic fluid varies according to gestation age. 50 ml is at 12 weeks, 400 ml at 20 weeks. It is highest, that is peak, at 36 weeks, which is 800 ml to 1 liter. Then the amount gradually comes down. At 40 weeks or term, it is 700 ml. It further reduces at 43 weeks or post term to 200 ml. Now, different colors of the amniotic fluid signifies different diagnosis. If it is greenish color due to presence of meconium, indicates fetal distress or breach or transverse line. Golden yellow due to presence of bilirubin resulting from fetal cell hemolysis, Rh incompatibility. Greenish yellow color suggests post maturity. Dark maroon color suggests accidental hemorrhage because of the long standing altered blood. Dark brown color is retained dead fetus. Fresh blood indicates vasa previa or low-lying placenta. Now, function of the amniotic fluid during the pregnancy. It acts as a shock absorber to protect the fetus from external injury. It maintains the fetal temperature, allows free movement and growth of the fetus, prevents adhesion formation between fetal parts and the amniotic sac. It has nutritive value due to the presence of small amount of protein and salt. Now, function of amniotic fluid during the labor. It forms a hydrostatic wedge, helps in the dilatation of cervix. During uterine contraction, amniotic fluid in intact membrane prevents interference with the placental circulation. It prevents ascending infection. It provides pool for the fetus to excrete urine. Now, how is it measured? It is measured through amniotic fluid index. It is a quantitative method of measurement of amniotic fluid by biophysical profile, and another method is modified biophysical profile. Maternal abdomen is divided into 4 quadrants by two perpendicular lines passing through the umbilicus. Using ultrasound, vertical depth of the largest pocket is measured in each quadrant, avoiding umbilical cord at fetal extremities. AFI is calculated in centimeter by adding the largest pockets from all the 4 quadrants. The normal range of AFI is 5 to 24 centimeter. If the index is more than 24, it is polyhydramnios. If the index is less than 5 centimeter, it is oligohydramnios. So with this, I end. Thank you all. Any queries, you can mail me or send me. Thank you. I'll be answering to all your queries.